Starting take two in 3, 2, 1, go! Hey guys and gals, how are ya? Welcome to Take Two right here on the one and only Voices on the Net Network. Appreciate having all of you taking the time out of your schedules to join Ronnie and I. That is right, we are back for yet another show. Hey Ronnie, how are ya?
I'm doing great.
Yeah.
This countdown's getting so close.
I know, it really is. We're going to rip another sheet of paper off of that countdown calendar as we do, as we have been doing the last 8 episodes. The last 7, I guess, would be safe to say. This is going to be the 8th. As we continue on to the countdown. That's right, the 300th episode right around the corner. This is not the 300th show, though. But we have a great show planned for each and every one of you, so stay tuned. You want to? We're going to get into everything. Ronnie's going to make it official, too, but in just a moment. But before we get into that, all of you tuned in right now would be so kind as the great listeners. Please visit www.vonthenet.com. That's right, the Voices on the Net Network's website. That's the official website. Check the website out for more information regarding the Voices on the Net Network. That's right, if you're new to the network, I highly recommend you check the About link out at the top of the website. We'll give you everything you need to know once you click it. Take you to a web page giving you what you need to know about this network here in thorough detail. Really a guide because, I get a lot of questions from people asking me what the Voices on the Net Network's all about. What is it? Is it a show? No, it's a network, but the page will give you what you need to know. You could also check out podcasts. Yeah, they're all there, all on demand for and at your very own convenience. You can also check out articles, my blog. It's all at vonthenet.com. So, yeah, Ronnie, I woke up. I'm like, we're edging closer to the 300th episode. We're only a couple away. It's amazing. It's really getting down to the nitty-gritty. Glad to be here, as always. You have a job to do, though. I mean, you have a job. You're going to rip another sheet of paper off of that countdown calendar, and you're going to make it official. So you want to grace us with your presence? Let us know what episode we have arrived upon.
We have arrived at episode 298.
Well, there you have it, episode number 298, folks. That is right. 2 away from the next major milestone. Yes. 300th episode. That's surreal, really is. But awesome to be here. We do have an awesome show planned for each and every one of you. But what's up, Ronnie? How are things going? What are you up to over there?
I'm doing my countdown from my last class.
I know. You've
4
been
days.
Edging ever so closer to your graduation. We've been talking about that, of course, and how you're really anticipating this. It's something that, you know what? You're anticipating the moment you're going to walk down to get your degree. And it's going to be a special moment. It is. You should be so proud.
Yeah. Walking down the hall, the aisle with the Omaha Symphony playing and onto the stage.
Now, they're a known symphony. I looked up online. They do regular gigs at the place you're going to be graduating at, correct?
Correct.
Yeah, so that's pretty That's honorable right there. That's an honor to have them doing that for you.
It's a huge event. I know that's everything they've got. When I went there to go look at the Holland Center, I'm telling you what, they have the decorations up, they have the banners up, and it's still not. It's not even this weekend. It's next weekend.
Yeah,
they're starting doing this.
Yeah.
So.
Well,
yeah,
rightfully so, though. I mean, it is a big event, a huge event. A college graduation is huge, and it's great that you're approaching it. And like I've stated numerous times before, before, you deserve it. You're very deserving of it. You worked hard to get to this moment, and definitely proud of you. We all are. So as we edge closer to that graduation, yes.
That's all I will be doing this week is a final assignment. That's it.
The thing is, though, what I'm wondering, and this is something that I've been pondering, after, you're graduated from college, what are you going to talk about during the opening segments? I mean,
I
you
don't
seem
know.
to harp around your schoolwork all the time. So it's like, you're going to have to find something else to talk about.
That was my life for 4 years.
Exactly. So you're going to have to find something else to talk about.
Yeah.
You'll have
I have
time.
to find a life.
Yeah. I think we'll find something to talk about.
Oh, I'm sure.
Yeah.
We will.
I'm sure. But yeah, we've got something on the itinerary that I do want to get into here. And you and I, we play World of Warcraft. Listen, I mean, we focus on that. But if you've played, console games, or you've played, let me get some music in the background here to kind of add to the feeling a bit. But yeah, we've played video games. Of course, those of you listening, I'm sure many of you game every now and then. Even if it's just casually, you just play every now and then. You know what it's like to buy a game. You go to the store. You may, wait in a small line. I mean, lines are really non-existent anymore. People can download their games on the internet. But regardless, you're going to spend $60 on a game. You want to play it once once it's downloaded or once you get home, right? I mean, you don't want to wait. Mm-hmm. Normally back, maybe 10 years ago, you would buy a game. You'd take the cartridge out. You'd blow on it maybe a couple of times because it wouldn't work the first time. That was the norm. Those of you that go back to console gaming, especially the Nintendo, you would note that if you wanted to play the game and it wouldn't work, you would blow on the cartridge a couple of times, and there you have it. It would work. Whatever happened to those days, whereas it was a lot quicker. Now, well, you're going to be buying the game. You're going to take it home. You're going to take it out of the packaging. You're going to put it in, and you're going to have to download an hour worth of patch updates. Seriously? I came home looking forward to playing the game. I'm all ready, and there's an hour of patch updates that I need to implement into this game before I play. Clearly the game wasn't ready when you shipped it. Now, I understand patch updates, months down the road, you update the game, but is there a reason why you're implementing an hour worth of patch updates? Seriously.
Yeah, I know.
Come on.
I want to get on there and play. First, you got to have the special tools to even get into the game. All that frustration to even get it into the door on your tower, and then to play the game, and then you got to go through all that nightmare. You still can't even get to play. I mean, you can still do laundry, get out a closet, you can mow the yard, go shopping, come back, and it's still doing it.
I think a lot of people have developed that. I think a lot of people have developed that mindset. You buy a game, you better have other things to do once you bring the game home, because you're going to wait quite a bit before you even play it. And this is now for the most part, we're talking about PC gaming here, but there's console gaming we can't forget about either. However, I'd have to say that the patches and so forth and the installation focuses more on the PC gaming side than the console gaming side. Now, with the internet being really in everybody's home pretty much, you're going to bring the game home. You're going to connect to the internet, and even console games are updating via patches and so forth. They're updating, certain files. So it's the same goes for console gamers in that aspect. But we talk about just gaming as a whole. How you buy a game, you're looking forward to play it, and playing it when you get home. That's not the case, though. You have a lot more to do before you even get to the actual game. I'm going to talk a bit about this. Our publishers punishing us for buying their games.
Yes,
there's a great article. Well, Ronnie, thanks for coming right out and saying that. Thank you.
I will.
But yeah, there's an interesting article that we're going to base this discussion off of. An awesome article. I'm a writer, so when I see a great article, I drool at it. This is an awesome article. A real genius article here. How it was worded, how... when an article is good, when something you're reading is good, when there's multiple hooks in the article. It's like, it catches you here, it catches you there, catches you here, it catches you there. And it also brings in the nostalgia factor. It brings in the past. But it also has a lot to do with you. You read it, you're like, wow, I remember all of the past items they're bringing up in this article. That's exactly how I felt when I read this. But the title of it is How Publishers Punish Us for Buying New Games. And we're going to go over the GIF, the overall theme of this article, going into them adding extras to the game. How many games ask you to place codes, add codes to play. Now, it's more along the lines that if you purchase a game from just a third-party retailer, they have certain codes that are affiliated with their store. So you get special items if you buy it from their store, or if you pre-order it, they give you a special code. The fact is, though, if you don't get it from that store, but you get it from another, but you want the items that you get from that store, but you can't get to that store because you don't live near that store, you're not going to get that item. So there are items in the game that you don't have a grasp of. You can't get. It's not possible unless you go to that store. So there are items being held from you. Now, these are store-held items, of course, but still, you feel kind of cheated. That you can't get those items because you haven't gone to that store. You went to maybe Amazon to buy it, and they had their own little promotion going on. GameStop or whatever, wherever you go, had another deal going on where they give you a code, and they offer you, if you're going to get an MMO game, they give you special items, to wear, gear, cloth, I don't know, clothes, who knows, but or a special hat or a mount, I don't know.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It's also irritating, though, when you get on there. They want you. It's a code for everything you want to do, though. If you want to play online or you don't want to play online, it depends on what you want to do. Then you've got to set up another account. Well, you might already have one with the other games that you've already played, but just because, and it's the same company, a different account. Yet again, to go through all that, fill in all that information, and finally you think you're going to play, and you find out you're not because now there's more upgrades. Drives me up a wall. But I used to have Diablo before I got WoW. And with Diablo, you had a choice, online or offline. I played online or offline most of the time until I figured out you can go online. But that was even a bigger issue because either your account got hacked or when I was trying to put the codes in there, they didn't match up. I had to take the game back 3 times before I finally decided, I'm going to WoW. But I did finish the game, but still I had to go to WoW, and then I started all over again with a whole new account system.
Well, that's interesting that you bring that up. And you know what the thing is? I understand that part where they ask you to sign up for an account. That's clear that they're going to do that because not everybody has an account to these services, and they don't know who does and who doesn't. So I understand gaming companies doing that. That was in the article. People that are being bombarded by, oh, would you like an account? Would you like this? Would you like that? Oh, no, I already have one. It doesn't take that long to do it anyway. I understand people being frustrated if they have one already, but there aren't everybody that has one. There are people out there that don't have an account to these services, and if they don't have one, they'll be gracious that they received, a pop-up stating, all right, you need to sign up for an account to get the full-fledged experience from this game. So they're going to sign up, and they're going to play the game and enjoy it. So I understand why publishers do that. But there are certain things that do bug me about games, and that's opening day patches. Because clearly I'm not, all right, I can understand maybe a couple of minutes here or 5 minutes, but there are games that you buy, and you start it up, and you're going to go through a half hour to an hour worth of patches. It's like, you really have that much more to add to this game? Seriously? You're giving me a game. I'm buying this game for $60. It's about 15 gigs large. You're telling me you couldn't fit what you're giving me right now into a game this large? Something doesn't make sense. Clearly you forgot something, I'm sure. Or you just wanted to, you wanted to release it, and now you're just going to release. Now, that's the thing with patches. They can release a game. They don't have to delay games anymore because they can release patches. Now, this is where the line is drawn, though. Would you rather buy a game that's fully stocked, where there's only maybe a couple of minutes of patches, but a delay? Or would you have it maybe released right away, but you're going to have to download an hour or so of patches? And that's really, the question and point. So whether you would rather have that game right in your home, play it, ready to play, but you're going to download a bunch of patches. And even if you have a fast internet connection, I'm talking about an hour downloading it on, off of a really fast internet connection, a fast Comcast connection, or a fast Verizon Fios connection. So, what would you rather do?
I would go ahead and do the downloads.
Okay.
Personally, because they're going to fix the problems that were on the CD in the first place. You put the game in.
Note that I did
they tweaked it.
Right, but note that I did bring up, I don't mind a couple of minutes of downloads.
Yeah.
You know,
but
so if that's the case, they could fix, tweak, etc., and it would only take a couple of minutes.
Yeah.
Usually with the hour plus downloads, they're adding things they forgot. They're just adding extra things that they forgot. I mean, extra game files that they forgot. They're not necessarily only tweaking; they're adding stuff to it.
Well, look at when you buy the game. Mine, it was over 3 hours. This is before I got the new computer. To put the game on my system before I could even play the game. Well, that was at least before I could hit enter, not actually play the game, because then I had to go through Blizzard and other places to be able to get on there to play. And then you got to watch the movie and the whole 9 yards before you get to play. So it's like a whole next day because the energy was like, oh, I'm too tired to play now. It's like 1, 2, 3 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
But I want to play.
No, I hear you. It's just it's really changed. It really has. The gaming infrastructure has shifted quite a bit. Now, don't get me wrong. Games have believe me, games have gotten a lot better. Graphically, they've gotten better. The audio quality, the sounds, the music, the background, everything has gotten a lot better when it has to do with gaming. In that aspect, I shouldn't say everything. There are some downfalls, though, because it just seems to me that there's so much more to what so many games could actually be. In other words, you're doing something, you're installing it, you're doing this, you're waiting. It seems that there could be a few things shaved off, and it would still be the same game. The same great game. It would be after you necessarily install all of what you're installing. Now, we talk about the codes, the added codes, which is a part of this article. The author's talking about basically content that you would like access to, but you don't have the opportunity to get. In other words, should every piece of content that you can get in the game be accessible in one way or another? It may be hard to get, but it should be accessible some way in the game, even if you don't go to a store. Because the whole point of codes, the whole point of game codes, is to we implement it. If you buy an item online, for instance, from the company, the manufacturer, they'll give you a code, implement it in the game. You can get them out. In other words, if you go to a gaming store, GameStop, or I don't even know how many gaming stores are out there. I know of GameStop and a couple of smaller ones. I don't even know. I think stores are going very quick, but GameStop really the popular one. Similar to going to GameStop, buying the game from there, and they give you a code. They'll offer you a special item if you buy it from their store. However, what if you don't get it from GameStop? What if you buy it online? You can't get that item then? No, you can't. No way. Wrong. The manufacturer will probably release something like that, if not that item, later down the line. But they'll charge you for it. That's how they make money. In other words, we've talked about World of Warcraft, for instance, selling items, for instance. They sell mounts, they sell pets, and they make a fortune off of these items. A fortune. They know they're going to make these items, they're going to sell them, and they're going to rake out the dough. They're going to make out really great. I'm not necessarily against that because that's a business. That they're doing that in the business sense, because you could get mounts in the game for free. There are plenty of mounts to get in the game. They're for free. You can do what you're going to do in the game. For people that don't raid nest regularly, they don't collect. They don't go to the ends of the earth to collect this mount. They don't do the immense amounts of dailies you have to do in order to get that mount. So you could buy it yourself. For those of you that may not have time, you could buy a mount, a nice mount, a really nice mount, for $25, and that'll really put you at the top of the list in terms of how you look on a mount, because they're beautiful. They did a great job with the Winged Guardian. In other words, they did a great job with it. A lot better than the Celestial Steed, I'll tell you. But,
I want that mount so bad. But remember, before Cataclysm came out, you got a special mount if you bought the trilogy. You had to buy all three. Now, let's just say you already had one of, WoW, and then they wanted you to go out and buy the trilogy to get this special pet, or you signed on and you got the authenticator. They'd give you another special pet, so they're making more money off of you, even though that one was probably well worth, the authenticator process. But they offer you these perks that you really want, but yet you really don't need, as far as like if you already have the one of those CDs to play the game, you don't need the whole trilogy process to get that special pet. But they kind of tweak you into it, so you end up doing it anyway. But or they add a special character to the game. Even like moving your character. How hard is it for these guys to move your character from realm to realm? But they charge you $25 to do so.
Well, what else are they going to do?
Wait, they could just move you. Why should they charge you? You're already paying how much a month to play the game and to buy the game.
Right, but even if they didn't charge you, how else are they going to move you from realm to realm? You got to still go through the process.
Mm-hmm.
So what's the...
They charge you $25.
Well, I understand that. No, but you had added that, that the whole moving process is up for debate. They can't really do anything else. You would move your character from realm to realm. They have to move all of your items and such. Mm-hmm. They have to do that for you. That takes that if you want to move to a realm, that's a decision that another realm. That's a decision you have to make. There's nothing they really can do to really improve that any better. I mean, I had heard from somebody in the game that I thought it took a day or two. Apparently, it only takes a few hours now. So clearly, they've improved on that noticeably. Remember, they have to take all of your items, all of your gold, everything, and ship it over to another realm. So definitely have to do that. Now, the money factor might be a little annoying for some people, but note that many people are not going to change realms. You're going to be fine with the realm you're on. You're going to be occupied with what you're doing in your guild on that realm, so you're going to be fine. For people that may multi-realm or they want to transfer to a more populated realm, well, you shell out the money to do it. It's not like it's an everyday thing. In other words, it's a once in a blue moon thing. So you shell out $25 once in a blue moon if you transfer realms on average, once every 6 to 8 months. That's $25 per 8 months. Divide that by 6 or 8. It's not that much money a month if you look at it. So, yeah, look at it in that way, of course.
True. But when you want to play a game and you're coming on, you just buy the game and you just find out there's little perks along the way. Now this game, $60 is now costing you $100, $150, depending on what you're wanting to do for that game.
Well, that's why they come out. That's why, for instance, Blizzard comes out with the battle chest. They'll give you everything for a limited price. That's the other thing, and that's really something that just comes with the territory. If a game lives on as long as Blizzard's World of Warcraft has lived on, you're going to have multiple expansions. You're going to have so many different games. I mean, so many different updates. So when you have one, you have the vanilla, then you're going to go through the Burning Crusade, and then you're going to go through Wrath, and then Cataclysm. These are all games that at one point you had to buy. You waited in line. You had to go to the store to buy. So, come 6-7 years down the line, they're all there. If you're a new gamer, you have to buy all of those. At one time, we all did. So you have to also remember that they have to. What are they going to do? Give the older games away? I mean, we had to buy them, so would that be fair in a way if you think about it? So they have to find a way to lower the price, and that's what they do with the battle chest. They give you a deal. They make you a deal. We'll give all of these games to you for this price, so you don't have to spend the full amount per game for every one.
Well, that's not I understand they got the money off the opposition, and they have made it easier compared to when it was almost 3 years ago when I joined. But still, I just wanted to play a simple game that looked really good on the back end of Diablo. the video that you can't escape and get past it. You have to watch it.
Yeah, the trailers.
That was good. So that's when I got hooked on WoW. But still, I wanted to play WoW. That's what I was wanting to play so bad.
Yeah. That's the other thing, and that's another thing they add to this article here, the trailers that you can't skip when you start the game up, in other words. So they're promoting upcoming games they're creating. So in other words, they're saying, listen, play this game for a few months, but when our new game comes out, go out and buy this one. So I guess this game is only going to be as good as it is going to be for 3 months, and then you're telling me to go buy another game. So you're trying to shell out. You're trying to to tell me to shell out more money, and so forth. But the thing is, you can't skip them. And they do that on purpose. After you watch it the first time, you can skip it. That's why a lot of people will they'll go in and they'll delete the movie files themselves. They will delete the movie files, yeah, so they don't see the trailers. Now, I don't know if every game has the ability to do this. Certain games can block that from happening. They want you to see the trailers, obviously. It's a promotional method for them. But it's just the added frustration from you going to the store, buying the game, getting home, wanting to play it, and then not being able to do it. You're looking at a trailer, you're downloading patches. It's like you're sitting there with a bowl of cereal waiting for
watching the line grow.
Right. It's like waiting for this game to start up. It's like, what the heck's going on here, guys? I want to play already. But I understand. This is a great article. It's called How Publishers Punish Us for Buying New Games. You want to check it out, search that in Google. Check it out. It is an awesome article. It really is. They did a great job. The author did an awesome job on this, absolutely. Added quite a bit of comedic appeal to it as well, so try it out, or check it out. All right, we're going to move into the associations part of the show. That is right. Ronnie and I, we associate random things out there with each episode number. We're going to do it for this episode, 298. That's right, the 298th episode of Take Two. So, Ronnie, you want to start us off with one over there?
Oh, yes. If you're going to be moving into New York City, if you're going to go to Boston, on the way there, because New York City has 2 apartments and Boston has the 1, they are only 298 square feet. They are the new, quote, quote, convenient living apartments. For one apartment that is only 298 square feet, it's going to cost you $199,000
$199,000
to buy.
Okay, but I thought you were going to say like a month or something.
To buy. It gives you a closet. I think I saw a door somewhere in that little video. Then it had a kitchen, very compact, looked like a gully. You had sort of a bathroom. You have a living room that has a bed that comes out of the wall. That's it. $199,000.
Nah.
Not really a good buy.
Oh, no, that's 298 square feet, you said? The average home in the United States, and this is going back to, I believe, 2007, was 2,500 square feet.
Yeah, this is like a walk-in closet.
That's
you're
nothing.
living in it.
That's nothing.
Mm-hmm. Crazy.
We've talked.
They have a whole unit of that.
We've talked about the apartments that they're only maybe 400 square feet or something, but they have 10 different rooms. And you wonder how they have 10 different rooms. Well, they have 10 different rooms because it's kind of a shift, the wall shift. In other words, you can turn this room into the bathroom, that room into the bedroom, this room into the living room, just by simply shifting the walls. And I love the idea back when we talked about it. I think that's a great idea. You could not only save a lot of money, but save space. And it actually is a reasonable idea. It really is a reasonable idea. It is.
This one, there's no walls moving, but a bed coming out of the wall. That's it. Yeah. Everything else is stationary.
Wow. There you have it. 298 square feet. I've got one for you. Now, we talk about the internet and how it's grown so much over the last 5 years. I mean, listen, who doesn't have an internet connection now in, say, major cities even? We go to the major cities, the major areas around the world. Just about everybody in these areas have an internet connection. Now, it's focusing on the smaller areas that may not have the infrastructure. They don't have the ability to get an internet connection because there's nobody around that offers it. It's getting those people involved now. But that's growing, slowly increasing quite a bit. So the internet usage that goes on around the world is growing quite a bit. As more and more people head on the internet, we've talked about the limited IP addresses. We've talked about bandwidth issues where companies are limiting bandwidth because they feel there's not enough, which is a crock, obviously. You know how I feel about that. But clearly, it's growing. In other words, those are signs that the internet is growing. So we talk about the internet usage in China. And we know that there are a lot of people in China, over 1 billion people in China. So clearly, there has to be hundreds of millions of internet users in China, right? Yeah, right. Well, the number of internet users in China, folks, in China, has risen, according to official figures, to 298 million. 298 million, folks. And this is, I believe, 2009 numbers right here. 298 million internet users.
Makes you wonder what it is right now.
Right. Well, I'll tell you.
But they also banned a lot of stuff since then, so I don't even know how much connection they actually allow their people to have.
That's the other thing, is what they can access in China. What can they access? What can't they access? Now, out of 1 billion people, you'd say only 300 million, 298 million. Well, that's a lot. You got to understand that you have to buy the internet connection first. Mm-hmm. Not everybody needs an internet connection. You know, there are certain age groups that are more prone to having an internet connection than others. So you have to place that into perspective. There are going to be, kids are also added to the picture too. They're not going to buy an internet connection. Who's counted in that number right there? Is it per family? Is it per person? What is it in other words? So that's the other thing that's also placed into this. 298 million is a large number, and it's probably a lot larger now in 2011. This was back in 2009, I believe. This was a 2009 article. But not too long ago from now, China had 298 million users. Probably I would say well over 350 million now. Well over. So.
Oh, yeah, it's got to be up there.
Yeah, so that's pretty interesting. What about a funny law? You got a funny law over there for us, Ronnie?
Oh, yes. Chapter 2, Title 98. There you go, 298.
Yeah.
Do you know a woman who happens to be over 200 pounds?
Do I?
Uh-huh.
Do I know a woman over 200 pounds? I know women that are over 200 pounds. Okay. Yeah.
Does she like to wear shorts?
She's worn shorts before, yeah.
Does she enjoy playing poker?
I don't know, to be honest with you. I wouldn't doubt it. Poker's a fun game, so perhaps. I'll say yes. How's that?
If all of these apply, which apparently it does, keep her away from Hopkins Hollow, Rhode Island, because it is strictly a violation of law there for a woman over 200 pounds dressed in shorts to be seen playing poker in public.
I want to ask this. Why would a law be like that be created? I don't even understand whatsoever why something like that would be created. What are they getting? What are they getting from restricting somebody over 200 pounds from wearing shorts and playing poker? I just don't want to know.
Maybe it depends on how short the shorts are. They don't want anybody to be, distracted from a winning hand. I don't know why they make these kind of laws, but that is in that area.
And this is in Rhode Island.
Yes, Hopkins Hollow, Rhode Island.
Very interesting, but odd to say the very least. Thank you.
It is odd, but it was funny.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. All right, we got to go into Ronnie's stamp of reparation. That is right for this 298th episode of Take Two. We're going to see what Ronnie or hear. In other words, we can't see, but we'll hear. You can see if you're watching, of course, but we're going to hear what Ronnie has to say in just a bit. But before we get into Ronnie's stamp of reparation, I'd like to thank our sponsor. That's right, this portion of the 298th episode of Take Two is brought to you by Audible.com, and we thank Audible for their generous support of the Take Two program, as well as the Voices on the Net Network. Now listen up, because Ronnie and I have an awesome deal for each and every one of you, and you don't have to spend a single dime. Nope, you don't have to spend a single cent when offering you a free audiobook and a 14-day free trial, a 2-week free trial to browse over 85,000 audiobooks at Audible. Yeah, always adding, and that's counting, folks, always adding new audiobooks to their service. The premier service on the web, they really are the best. And we're going to give you one free audiobook and a 14-day free trial to try the service out. You want to try it out. You have no risk whatsoever. No risk. Go to audibletrial.com/take2. That's right, audibletrial.com/take2 to take advantage of your offer here. Your free audiobook and your 14-day trial. You'll be glad you did. As always, we thank Audible for their generous support of the Take Two show, as well as the Voices on the Net Network. That's audibletrial.com/take2. All righty, Ronnie. Do you want to give us what you have in terms of your stamp?
I have something that's rather insane, to say the least. Riverside, California. How many times have we heard about the earthquakes that are happening out there? And they've always made jokes about it, saying that the state's just going to fall off from the country. It's going to be an island. Well, it's almost happening without the earthquake. In Riverside, California, Republican Jeff Stone has decided, you know what? He doesn't want to be part of the union mostly because he wants to take the state and the 13 counties that are Republican, wants to take those and now turn those into a separate state. So you'll have Northern California and Southern California, separate jurisdictions, separate rulings. You have a problem with this already because California is broke. And he wants to divide this up, which means now we're going to have a different kind of election process. Another census process for California because now you got to divide it apart. Different laws because it's going to be a different state, different constitution, the whole 9 yards. He wants to take this and actually divide it when we already know that some of the monies where they're coming from the top support the bottom. The bottom's supposed to be supporting the top, but actually it doesn't work that way. But I think Republican Stone needs to figure out one thing. Did he read the United States Constitution? Just scan it to where it states in Article 4, Section 3, that no state, none, zip, nada, shall form another jurisdiction within a state. That is what they told us through this whole entire time. Now, West Virginia was able to do so because they were able to state that they were declaring their legislature. So they agreed to that, and Congress agreed to that.
Right.
For this to work, Congress has to agree with it, as well as California legislature. Why would they agree to separate a state that is already receiving state funding, federal funding, and now divide the state? Some have even come as close as to stating that they're going to give it, they're going to call it basically a different name, not even Southern California. Why are they doing this? I mean, are they going to sit there and state because it's a different part of a segment, or is it the culture that happens to be in that area, or what is going on that they have to divide themselves so much from the rest of the United States? Does it seem real to you? Texas is another one that wants to do this.
Oh, yeah.
Make itself separate from the rest of us.
Yep.
We were 50 states, so now I got a better idea. Why don't we just take all the states that we have and just divide them all in half? We have 100 states.
Well, because everybody, it's the individualistic approach. They want to be individual. They want to be independent. They want focusing on state law. In other words, they want all of the laws that have been created per state. They want. They feel that what they're going through in their state is fine. They don't need anything extra. They have what they want. So why do they need the help of anybody else? In other words, why do they need the help of the country? They're their own state. Then they feel that they could be their own country, a la Texas. They feel that they could be their own country.
That's right. But California is a whole different ballgame because remember, with California, they are still repaying the debt that they actually owed for us, the American people. So now they want to separate themselves from not only the union to the point as to what some of the legislatures have brought up, but they want to separate the state itself. What about the people? It was almost like the Berlin Wall type thing. Now you got to hurry up and decide, okay, which side of the wall do you want to be on? Do you want to be in Southern California? You want to be in Northern California? What is so different with the law that has to be changed and separated down into the lower states? What's going to happen with the other states? Let's just say, I know Maine separated from Massachusetts long ago before it actually even became a state itself. But that's separated with water, right? So why are we worried about California? Is California so nasty, wants to hurry up and get together and divide the country, or the state rather, in half? Why don't Missouri do it? We got a river that's going down there, blocking it off. I'll drown away. Idaho, just divide it up because you don't agree in the political realm.
Yep. Thank you, Ronnie, for your stamp of reparation. We appreciate it. Do have to head to the break on this 298th episode of the show. That's right, but we'll be back for the second segment. We've got quite a bit to talk about. We're going to go into, get this, are you living an imposter-driven lifestyle? Think about it. You've been promoted. Do you feel you're really deserving of that promotion? Did you get a bit lucky? How much luck plays a part in our lives when we're working, in other words, when we're trying to do something? How many times do you maybe depend on other people, but you take all, the independent credit, the single-handed credit? How many times does that occur in your life? How many times have you heard of that occurring, in other words? Are you doing too much? Doing too much, in other words, but playing it off as if you can do it perfectly. Well, there's an interesting article right here on HuffingtonPost.com that goes into an imposter-driven lifestyle. So we're going to surround the discussion around that article. It's going to be very interesting. Some of the factors that play a part here. We're also going to go into something else here that talk about singles agreeing on a dress code. That's right. How's this? A specific dress code when you're going out on a date. In other words, would you want to date somebody, a first date I'm talking about, somebody that's wearing jorts, jean shorts? Would you be kind of turned off by that? If I went out, if I were going out on a first date with one of you gals out there, and I ended up coming to wherever we were going, and I wore the jean shorts, would you be kind of turned off? Certain dress code, that's right. And this is actually interesting, so we're going to go into this. So you don't want to go anywhere. We're going to go into this, the other thing, that's right, the imposter-driven lifestyle, as well as your blast from the past. So don't go anywhere. Ronnie and I return right after the break on this 298th episode of Take Two, so stay tuned. And we're back. That is right. Ronnie and I have returned for, the second segment of this 298th episode of the show as we continue our countdown to the 300th episode program. That's right, edging ever so closer, a couple away. So got a lot to talk about during the second segment of this show. This is not the 300th episode, but we still have a lot to talk about. Welcome back, Ronnie.
Thank you. Do I look taller?
Do you? Yeah, a little bit, I think. Why? What happened? Did you put something under your rear end?
No, my chair was slowly sinking down the last episode.
There you have it. I guess that would do it. I guess that would make you shorter. Make you seem shorter. I just know I'm going to
disappear from the monitor.
Yeah, we don't want you to disappear. We don't want you to disappear, Ronnie. We need you here, so all right. Glad to have you back. All right, we've got quite a bit to talk about, but before we get into all of the items we're going to be talking about, that's right, the interesting imposter-driven lifestyle discussion we're going to be getting into, as well as a dress code if you're going out on a date. Yeah, also your blast from the past coming up at the end of the program. But before we get into everything, if all of you tuned in right now would be so kind, would you please visit www.vonthenet.com. That's right, the Voices on the Net Network's website, where you, the great listeners, will be able to find more information regarding the Voices on the Net Network. Yeah, that is right. All you need to do is go up to the top of the website, check. You'll be able to see an About link. Check, click it, check. It will take you to a web page that will provide you everything you need to know pertaining to this network in thorough detail. Yeah, you could also check out or listen to podcasts of any of the episodes for many of the shows. Yeah, and they're also all available on demand format at your very own convenience. Articles, my blog, plenty of content, all at the website www.vonthenet.com. Welcome back once again, Ronnie. We've got quite a bit to talk about. Mm-hmm. Yeah. All right, let's go into the first item right here. Are you living an imposter-driven lifestyle? And, this is something that isn't so out of the norm, because how many people have you known in your lives, folks, if you think about it, that have been promoted, that don't deserve it because deep down inside they're really relying on a lot of other people. Or perhaps maybe they may be relying on other people, but they deserve the promotion. Usually people that are promoted, whether you're promoted to a supervisor, whether you're promoted to a manager, a CEO, whatever, you need to learn how to do those tasks that role requires you to do. You may be really good at stocking shelves. You may be really good at the entire store inventory. Or maybe the exact opposite. That would be, in other words, what a manager would be good at. Say you're great at the manual labor type, material, but you're not good at necessarily remembering where everything is. Well, you're promoted because maybe you work your rear end off by stocking the shelves greatly, helping out wherever you can help out. You're great at really the manual labor thing, so they promote you. But you don't necessarily know where everything is, so you rely on everybody else to help you out there. Do you deserve that promotion because you just know how to maybe work the manual labor? Like I said, do the manual labor thing. You know what I mean? This is interesting because there's an article right here on HuffingtonPost.com, and it goes into talking about, are you living a life as an imposter? We've been going into this type of ordeal quite a bit on the show. We've talked about the failure to succeed. Are you afraid of failure? In other words, and this author, we've been following what he has been writing on this website. Really some interesting stuff. I want to hear your opening, opening, what you have to say, in other words, Ronnie, when we talk about this, because have you ever known anybody, in other words, that has maybe been promoted, but they don't deserve it because maybe they are relying too much on, say, their employees or even other people, maybe not necessarily employees, but just other people?
Oh, yes. I know someone that actually ruled a place based on delegation. So he loved to delegate out anything that was handed to him, such as if there was an invoice that had to be taken care of, or that you mentioned as stocking or anything like that. He delegated everything to somebody else, but he took the credit. Everybody else was busting to get this done and accomplished because that was their role to do. But he would assign extra chores for you to do. But they were assigned to him. Right. And he was supposed to be part of the team, but that's just kind of how his style is, how he did things. And he ended up getting promoted, and he had only worked for the company for 3 months versus the rest of the people that worked there, myself included. What was there, maybe a year, just over a year, that actually experienced different elements of the industry that we were in at the time. But he walked in the door, and he made the bosses laugh. So he always put himself in front of them. Right. Where the rest of us were not on that particular shift when the bosses would come in. You were on the night shift. They were the day shift. So you had no access to these people. All they saw was that this guy, newly to the company, was doing such and such and such and such and such. When they opened the doors in the morning or whatever, they saw that everything was in place and done, but he isn't the one that actually done them. Gotcha. It was us. So when he got promoted, higher responsibility and so forth, he couldn't do the job. Right. But he made it look like he did.
Right. Because what happens is, all right, you get the promotion, but really you didn't deserve that promotion. So what happens when you are promoted, you do just enough to get by in order for those that are above you, in other words, that see or had promoted you, the whoever's your superior, whoever's managing you, sees, oh, all right, well, I don't know any different. I promoted you because I perceived you, knowing you knew what you were doing, in other words, but really you don't, but you're getting by just enough. And that's why I think a lot of people that are promoted, and this is where there's that conflict, because how are you going to combat that? How are you going to combat this here? Through evaluations and really taking the time to think before you promote somebody, in other words. You want to think before you promote who it is you're promoting, whether it's an employee to a supervisor to a manager, whatever. You really should probably think before doing so, because you never know when somebody is going to sneak right underneath. You think because of maybe their personality or what you've seen with maybe not even seen, but you've perceived a difference, between perceiving and seeing with your own two eyes. What based on the decision you made to promote that person, because really they weren't deserving of that. Deep down inside, they're relying on other people to do the work they're supposed to be doing.
That's right.
But it's an increase in pay, and you're not going to say, I really don't know what I'm doing here, because you don't want to be demoted, do you? No. So a lot of people are living this similar, I guess they're going through this, this right here. A lot of people are going through this.
They are. I mean, you have people out there that have two different personalities, two different side sets. So it depends on who they are around. Let's say that they're hanging around, that the big heads come into the building. They turn into a completely different person at that point in time to benefit themselves and to impress the leadership that's come through those front doors. once those front doors shut and the leadership is on the outside of it, they turn into a different person. Now they want to be part of a team and be part of a group. When they just got done ditching you to show a different type of personality to these guys, as if they knew something,
Right.
and would laugh with them, would visit with them, as if they knew it was part of the company, but had no idea what the company was even about. I don't even think they even really realized what we actually sold, other than standing there in the middle and being a different personality. So you've seen two different sides of one individual.
Right. It's like this, in other words. And this is really, we talk about how going to college will get you that degree that will basically put you on a pedestal and get you into more places, in other words, more places of work and of employment than somebody that doesn't have a college degree. It's similar to you working at a retail store. Say you're not in college, you never went to college, but you've been working at this store, this place, for maybe 10 years. You know the whole place like the back of your hand. Yet a manager comes in, they have never, ever worked at this place in their lives, yet they're a manager. They're coming in, and the original manager is showing them around, teaching them the what to do, teaching them the system, the POS system, teaching them where everything is, and you're wondering, why are they bringing somebody in that's never worked here before in their life, but they have a college degree, whereas I've been working here for 10 years. Shouldn't I get the promotion? I mean, I think I know a bit more about this store than this individual that's coming in and being promoted to manager, right up to manager. Wow, because he has a college degree. That's why. Which is interesting, because that college degree, they worked to get that college degree. Now their work has paid off for them. However, is that going to benefit the store? Because this person doesn't know anything about the store. So they're learning, but is it more along the lines of learning through experience, in other words, where you may want to weigh your options, whereas even though this individual has a college degree, would you trust this person that's worked there, the other employee that's worked there for 10 years without a college degree at the management position?
I think that's always been the big question, because you see this in the bigger industries, especially, in the military, they do the same thing.
Right.
In different professions, they do this to where they will actually bring somebody in from the outside, a total stranger.
Right.
So they don't know the customer or the client orientation. They don't understand what's going on with the community in this particular business or profession. But that gives kind of a bad signal inside of the company itself that they're going to hire someone because solely on that degree. Well, that degree provides you a well-rounded person that they've touched upon different topics in college, implemented that within their college assignments and so forth. But What about real life experiences? Because I think a lot more has to go with that college diploma than just attending class, because now it becomes an experience. Now you have to implement that process, all that knowledge, and implement what you learned into that environment. And there's some people that just do not have that ability. You have those that are book smart, those that are street smart, and those that can kind of tweak either side depending on what environment they are in. But when you bring that in from the outdoors and bring that into a company, and you're giving that person lead, I think that they need to have a little bit more experience in there and be more in tone with what they have there as far as employees at that time. Because I've known people that actually graduated college, but they showed up for the degree purposes solely because they knew that they were going to get promoted once they graduated.
Right.
And then they come into the company, they didn't learn anything, they didn't do anything. They went there, they got their degree, barely passed, and now here they are, and they got that because they have a degree. But yet, you have somebody that was in there that never called in sick for 5 years, that took charge of the company, learned that industry inside and out, and they're stuck where they are because they don't have that degree.
Yeah, and I think that's really and again, we've talked about it numerous times. We've talked about, the importance of, a college degree, both of us in college, you about to graduate. Clearly, the work that we did to get that degree has to mean something. Now, one would agree, I would hope, that in college you're not going to learn, in other words, the environment maybe you would learn if you were to work at an actual establishment. College is only going to teach you, maybe, for instance, if you're a business major, you'll learn how to run a business by reading, material and maybe doing simulations, but you're not actually in the workplace doing that. You're not necessarily learning from your own mistakes. In other words, this is simple reading material, and the simulations, well, it's a fake manager. So if you screw up, you get another chance at it.
Yeah.
If you were at, the workplace, actually, physically, your manager could fire you if you screwed up. So it's a bit of a different experience, learning from your own mistakes, actually learning in a workplace versus maybe a simulation or learning in college. So school is leading you up to that. In other words, you're gaining an education, but in other words, college, and we know the degree really allows people to weed out those that have taken that extra step to get the extra education, in other words, to get that degree. So they know, all right, so this, we know that this group might be proactive. This group took the initiative. They got the degree, so we know that they're going to be hard workers more than likely. These people don't have a degree, so we're taking a chance with them unless we know that, A, they've worked here before, or B, they've worked somewhere else for an extended period of time. We know that they're getting it based off of a recommendation or a referral from their old manager, wherever. So I have to weigh my options here. Do I want a college degree, or do I want, experience with a referral without a college degree? So it really goes into this, talking about those that may be promoted, and I don't even want to say under false pretense, because, they may know more than somebody with, how can I put this? In other words, somebody that has never worked at wherever it is they're going to become a manager or supervisor or whatever they're going to be becoming, in other words. They're entering this workplace. They're entering this place of employment. They're learning from the original, the existing manager. The manager's teaching them the system. They're teaching them everything they can. Maybe they grasp on to what they're learning faster than somebody that worked there even a few years that feels they're more deserving of the manager position or a supervisor position because they have a college degree. Maybe they put more trust, the existing manager, in that individual that they're promoting. They're adding to the store. They're in other words, inviting to become a manager. So they're going to teach them as best they can. If you're the existing manager, who would you trust more? Somebody that has a college degree or somebody that may have experience but not a college degree? But you also have to understand, as it's involved with what we're discussing, that individual that you're teaching, the system, the store, just that you're giving them the runaround. Are they deserving of it, in other words? Or are they going to depend on those that have worked at that, that place of employment for 10 years? Now, the manager really does depend on their employees because if their employees don't perform, they look bad. So there has to be a balance right there. But how much of an imposter are you going to be? How much are you going to rely on your employees as a manager? Because if you're really going to rely on them to that extent, there's a limit to it. There's a plateau. There is. And as a business major, I could tell you that. There's a plateau for which you rely on your employees. And if you go too far, well, whoever you're relying on might as well be the manager because, clearly you're relying on them a bit too much. And the manager, there's certain things a manager should know how to do, or what to do, in other words, making decisions. Very, very important. There's group decision thinking. We call it group thinking. How much group thinking is going on while you are relying on those in the group to make those decisions versus maybe individual thinking, but you're still maybe relying on those employees, in other words, to do whatever it is you're supposed to be doing. Maybe you don't know how to make the decisions, whereas the existing manager thought you did. For instance, you may not have to stock the shelves as a manager, but you have to make decisions because the managers, they command the employees. They make sure everybody's doing their jobs. But if you don't know what you're doing, well, are you really deserving of that job? Are you? No.
True. Because you're a leader. They're going to be following you. They're going to follow your lead. And if you're putting a false lead and you're just taking the benefit of everybody else, that's not showing the company. Not all that is. It's not even a team leadership. That's eventually going to break and fall because your team's going to let you down. They're going to let you know that, hey, this guy has no idea or this girl has no idea what they are doing, and therefore it's on us. People have a tendency to put that different side of them out. Even, let's just say you're entering the workforce for the first time. You're entering in there, you're dressed up in that suit, you're going to go in there and you're going to make a big impression that you know everything. You're going to answer the questions the right way, carry on a higher level kind of a conversation with these people to impress them. Then you're hired. Now what are you going to do? People tend to fall into that false persona of not putting themselves out there. But people only put so much of themselves out there. They hide. They only put one face out there because if they fail, it's not actually them. It's a different part of them. But if they put a part of themselves out there, they're not really putting a part of themselves in the job. So they're not even afraid of taking that jump and jumping full in all gear and, hey, ready to go and take that role and responsibility. And that's college or without college. I've seen people that didn't have one look at college and made it, very high in a business based on their knowledge that they learned throughout the years of working with a company versus a college student that didn't. But still, I've seen it reversal to where people are upset because a college student received a higher paying job within a company and they were bypassed because they think it's that degree. When in reality, it's how you interpret your own job, your own environment of where you're at. There's no reason why you cannot succeed. There's so many ways to learn your job, your role, your responsibility. There's so many elements within that environment that you can learn. It doesn't require a degree. It just requires common sense and the will and the want to do something.
But the thing is, a manager might not look at that the same way you're bringing it up. In concept, maybe in theory, that would work because, you would think, all right, this person that has 10 years experience, common sense, would be a great manager, but they don't have that college degree. They did not go through the business courses that the person I'm bringing in that may not have the retail experience this individual has, the employee that has 10 years experience, but he has the college degree and he has the business classes under his belt. So I'm going to trust him making the decisions over the employee that has 10 years experience. Maybe the employee with 10 years experience does not have the skills to make decisions. He may be good at stocking shelves. He may be good at helping customers. He may be good at knowing where everything is. But a manager, and this is something I'm learning in my business class or in my leadership class, on how to be a better leader. Really talking about how the supervisors, the leaders, the managers, they have to be able to make the decisions. They have to be able to run a company in a way that it's going to motivate the employees. In other words, no, they're not going to be stocking the shelves. No, they're not going to necessarily be helping out the customers as much as the employees. But they're going to be making the decisions that are going to motivate the employees, that are going to help the customers. So it's a hierarchy system. And something called the Peter Principle, which I really do. I think all jobs, all hierarchy systems should utilize this right here because the Peter Principle, in other words, is a hierarchy. Every employee, in other words, it's a theory in such that every employee tends to rise to his or her level of incompetence, meaning that they're promoted until they can't do it anymore. They're promoted until they reach that plateau, that position in which they can't work competently anymore. They can't. They've reached that plateau now until they learn how to do what it requires you to do to reach that next level, then you're promoted. Now, one would think, well, isn't that common knowledge? You would not want to promote somebody that cannot work at the manager level if they can't, right? Absolutely. But that's why we bring up the imposter phenomenon here. How many people are at that level that are incompetent, that can't do it, that simply cannot fulfill the duties to be a manager, that cannot fulfill the duties to be a supervisor? How many people are doing that? I'll tell you, quite a bit. Because they feel, all right, I'm making the money, I can rely on this one or this one, and they'll help me out, and I'll be able to get by. Yeah, well...
Until a real problem arises.
Right, exactly. And I think that's a bigger problem in itself. When you go into the fact that, a business relies on the manager to make the decisions, to motivate the employees, to do the job, to make sure that the profitability is up, profit margins are up. They want to make sure that they're profiting, right? So, Yeah, that's why it's interesting that that this article is out. It has been written because I'm learning about comparable things to this in my classes, which is great that we went into it because I could add my insight as to what I learned and so forth in class, and to go into really the facts around it and the factors surrounding this article here. But glad that we went into it. All right, we do have to move into the next item on the itinerary before we move into the blast from the past. That is right. We're going to be talking about something here. Listen to this, folks. You go out on a date, first date. You're gonna probably change into 50 different outfits before you leave the house, right? But a dress code for going out on that first date. Yeah, literally. It's a survey that talks about this here. Talks about how U.S. singles, this has to do with the United States, singles have decidedly strong and similar views for what to wear out on a date. Yeah, we're going to talk about this here. We will. This is going to be fun. Before we get into this, though, and your blast from the past, it is time to thank our sponsor. That is right, this portion of the 298th episode of Take Two is brought to you by Audible.com, and we thank Audible for their generous support of the Take Two program, as well as the Voices on the Net network. Now listen up, ladies and gents, because Ronnie and I have an awesome deal for each and every one of you, and you don't have to spend a single dime. No. We're going to offer you one free audiobook and a 14-day, that's right, a 2-week free trial to browse over 85,000 audiobooks. 85,000 and counting. Audible always adding great audiobooks, new audiobooks to their service. Really the best out there, the premier service on the web. But to get a free audiobook and a 14-day free trial, we're going to give that to you if you go to audibletrial.com/take2. That's right, audibletrial.com/take2 to take advantage of this offer. You want to try it out at least. The auditory experience is one in itself. Rather than traditionally picking up a book and reading it word for word, the auditory experience, comparable, in other words, to you watching a movie or maybe listening to a radio show. You're listening. You're retaining via the auditory process rather than visually reading whatever it is you're retaining. It's a fun experience. And the voiceover artists behind these books, they add so much appeal to each book. Yeah, they add the dramatic appeal, the comedic appeal. It's fun. audibletrial.com/take2 to take advantage of your free audiobook and your 2-week free trial. You'd be glad you did. As always, we thank Audible for their support of the Take Two program, as well as the Voices on the Net network. All right, Ronnie. A survey right here that goes into singles agreeing that we should maybe maybe, in other words, focus on the dress code when we go out on the first date. It goes into singles from the United States having strong and overwhelmingly similar views for what to wear and do, particularly on summer dates. This is a Match.com survey that also indicates, folks, that many agree on what they want a companion to wear on that date. Now, Ronnie, what do you have to say about this? Listen, if you go out on a date, clearly you're probably going to change into quite a few different outfits because you want to look good, right? However, what is your
leave the front door?
What is your companion? What is the person you're going to be dating going to be wearing? Oh, that's the nerve-wracking point. Because if they're going to be wearing, something that you don't necessarily approve of, what are you going to think? Are you going to define that person based on what they're wearing? Because, if they're wearing, things you don't approve of, clearly going to be turned off by that.
A big turn off, especially if your underwear is hanging past your pants and the pants are past the equator. That's a big turn off. You don't want to look at that. That's not. And then plus, as being the female, you don't want to outdress the male, but you also don't want to underdress either. So you don't know what you're supposed to wear, but when you open that door or you're going out to where you're supposed to meet this guy at,
right?
And he has that on, or he's wearing a goofy cowboy hat. Come on.
Oh, you don't like the cowboy hat?
It doesn't happen, okay?
Oh, you don't like the cowboy hat, Ronnie?
No. Some guys looks really good. Other guys looks dorky because they turn it sideways. Now they look like, some kind of alpha freak. It just looks nuts to me. But when you have, I don't mind. I mean, I like the khaki pants.
Right.
I like that. I like the polo shirt. Yeah. Or, show some chest. I don't care. That I like. Nice, clean.
Right.
But I don't want to see your pants past the equator.
Gotcha. 81% of the men like women to wear white pants on a date, while 92% of men prefer them to wear short skirts. And I'll tell you, I'm a sucker for short skirts. Now, no, I'm not only thinking of one thing and one thing only, because short skirts lead to other things, but no, I just think they look very, very nice on a gal. I really do. I think they look very nice. Then again, 92% of men feel the same way. 12%, get this, 12% of men say midriff bearing shirts should stay in the closet, while 63% of the men say they like braided hair on their date. But 56% of men really don't care for the big sunglasses look. I'll tell you, I'm a sucker for when hair's up, not necessarily down. I like when females wear their hair up rather than, maybe just loose. I like that. I really do.
Yeah, but then you turn into a whole different analogy. You're putting on those top braids. It's a lot of work.
I can imagine,
Sometimes
absolutely.
Sometimes you just want to go, natural.
But you know what I mean, though? I like when gals wear their hair up in a ponytail. The gal, just wear it up. I think that looks really nice. It's rather than necessarily just down and loose. I mean, I don't mind it. I'm just saying, there are certain things that I like more that turns me on more. Maybe, you know what I mean?
There you go.
So, yeah.
Well, there's some things in guys. Like, I don't like guys that have longer hair than me or bigger breasts. I don't like that. That's just not it. I'm not into that. But I like a clean cut kind of guy. But I don't want him wearing, if we're going to go on a date, come on, don't embarrass me.
Right.
But they have, I've seen guys, I've got guys that had the holy pants from, oh my gosh, the strings were hanging all off of them. Of course, they got the baseball socks on. I'm just done.
Not
it's
your
done
cup of tea.
Deal. I could not go through with it.
Not your cup of tea, right?
No.
No.
Well,
let's move on to some of the other numbers in this study. 68% of women say it's never appropriate for a date to show up wearing skinny jeans, while 80% of women say a guy should never walk around shirtless, even if he has rock-solid abs. Situation? Yeah, you know who you are, from Jersey Shore. You're out of the question, I suppose. And 93% say they prefer a man wearing a polo shirt and khakis on a date. Well, yeah, obviously. 53% of the men said it's not acceptable for a woman to wear a thong swimsuit for a beach or pool date, while 91% of women say they're not ready to see their date sport a Speedo at the beach or pool. Yeah, seriously. Now, I guess, listen, there are certain things that people wear that are more of a turn on than, say, in other words, other things. For instance, I brought up jorts, jean shorts. Not exactly a turn on for many females. Not my cup of tea. No, I don't like jean shorts. Neither do a lot of females. They're not turned on by them. For instance, I like skirts on females. I really do. I like the whole short skirt. I like that look. I really do. I like the summer look. It's just while some people may like khakis more along the lines than skirts, or they may like nice jeans on a female, or they like their own. They have their own taste. In other words, for instance. I don't mind the bedroom look. In other words, the wearing the pajama pants. I like that. I think that's a turn on. I like that. I like the whole bedroom look, the pajama pants and the sweatshirt. I do. Mm-hmm. But not on a date necessarily. Maybe not on a date. But you know what I mean. I'm trying to make a point.
Yeah. But it depends on who you're with, because it's funny what guys want to see girls in, as if she is their date, versus what they will stare at when someone is not their date, as a different perspective. So their date must have a certain look, a certain attire, versus what they're actually staring at out there as to look at. Maybe it's because they don't want other guys to look at her. I don't know. But you find that a lot. You wear a certain thing that they said that they like. You have it on, but they're looking at something else that they think that they like better because they didn't like it in the first place. But all of a sudden, it's this big, overwhelming thing that they can see. I don't know.
I will tell you though.
Standards, different people.
I will tell you though that the big sunglasses cliche has gotten out of hand. So many gals are wearing the big sunglasses. I don't mind wearing sunglasses, But the gigantic ones where they think they're celebrities in their own mind, it's like, come on. I mean, seriously, are you really asking for that much attention, gals? Come on. So cut it out. But I don't mind just wearing if you're going out with me and we're going to be walking around outside and you're wearing sunglasses, absolutely, I'd wear sunglasses too. For instance, some females like the sunglass look on the guys. It depends what you like. The big ones I can live without. I can live without the gigantic ones, that's for sure. Victoria Beckham, yeah, but that is for sure. But that's just a Match.com survey talking about how many singles agree on dating dress codes. Then again, was it really to contemplate if you were to talk about going or think about what you would do if you were to go out on a first date? You would be changing quite a few times before you looked nice. You want to look nice for your date. How much emphasis do you place on what you're wearing? Quite a bit, I'm sure. We all do. I would think.
You call on your friends over to come over. Okay, hurry up, meet over here. Look, tell me what you think.
Right, absolutely. That's I wanted to briefly go into that there. We do have to move into your blast from the past on this 298th episode of Take Two right here on the Voices on the Net. Now, what do you say, Ronnie and I, and all of you head into the past? You want to go into the past, Ronnie?
I want to.
All right, folks, here we go. This is your blast from the past. Enjoy. Now, we're going to be talking about creativity and whether or not it can be taught or not. Because creativity's in us, within us as people. We as people can whether our creativity is as enhanced as another person, well, that's to be determined. But we all have some sort of creativity inside of us. Maybe very dull, maybe very may not be as great as somebody else, but it's still there. But whether or not creativity can be taught or not is the question. And there's an interesting article that we're going to base this discussion off of. We are pertaining to the creativity factor, whether or not it can be taught. Has anybody ever come up to you, Ronnie, and said, because you're a creative person, has anybody ever come up to you and say, I'm just not creative? But you are.
Yes.
I wish I was as creative as you, or somebody else that's really creative that you look up to, and you wish you could be as creative as them. You wonder how they come up with the ideas they come up with.
Yeah, who's inventors?
Yeah. Well, people that are innovative, that create the products that we use regularly. You're like, darn, I should have thought of that.
Yeah.
It's right there, right? You look at these commercials, these TV commercials, and you wonder, something as basic and easy as that, yet they were very creative because you didn't think of it, they did. And they thought of it, they plug it on the commercial. You're like, I should have thought of that.
Yeah.
But it's not as easy as that.
Yeah, so it takes an imagination.
Well, yeah, but the point I'm trying to make is something as easy as the things we see on TV aren't as easy because it took somebody's creative mindset to come up with that. How many times have you thought, oh, this can really benefit our life or somebody's life in so many ways? Oh, but it's probably already invented. Somebody already created it. That's what these people that invent these products are thinking when they're trying to create a product. Because the chances are, if you think of something, it's probably already invented. They have conventions where thousands of people bring their creations and hope that an investor will take the time to look at the product. They get to demonstrate the product in front of a board. And the investors, if they're interested in the product, will say, oh, I'm interested in that. I'll definitely spend some money to market that and so forth. These conventions spur thousands of people. I've watched it on YouTube. I've watched it on the television. People that go to these conventions because they have their products with them. Some of them are the most odd design you ever see in your life. They're so odd, but they're creative.
Remember, we did a story not too long ago on a 10-year-old girl who just was in front of a machine and saw one of the little fuzzy thingies and developed a whole company with that. Just one concept. And it, just created something completely different, and voila. Mm-hmm. Now, was she born with it?
Well, she was young, and she saw something that was impulsive to her interests. She was drawn to it. Some people think whether or not at such a young age, people that have such a creative mind, are they born with it, or do they read something and then spur their creativity off of whatever they read? I truly believe, and this is where there you have it, your blast from the past for episode number 298. So what do you say we hightail it out of here, Ronnie?
Okay, I'm with you.
Yeah. We have to go, but we continue the countdown the next episode 299, as we continue to edge closer and closer to the 300th episode show. I'll tell you, it's amazing. We're all glad to be here. I'm very happy to have each and every one of you tuning in, each and every show, Ronnie as well, and we can't wait for the 300th episode. But until the next one, 299, where we do it all over again for each and every one of you, new itinerary, will you join us? Hope you will. We do have to go now, so until then, much love to you all. Bye-bye.
Take care, everyone. Bye-bye.